Welcome to the Success Pick and Mix podcast with me, Nikki Raby. I began this podcast in 2018 and I've produced over 400 episodes with an emphasis on dreaming and doing. But I know there is so much more to building a business and life that you love. It's definitely a work in progress. For the last 25 years, I've built a portfolio career as an actor, personal branding coach, writer, speaker, and podcaster. I love my pick and mix and curating my personal brand. I want to support you to create success on your terms. I've helped over 1,000 people to build a personal brand, and yes, I will be sharing with you business strategies around planning, packaging, presenting, and propelling your personal brand. But there is so much more to my work than that. I'm not interested in formulas, templates, or sleazy pants sales techniques. You know the ones. Instead, how would it feel to do things your way that align with your personality, circumstances, and goals? I'm going to be sharing conversations with some of my favorite people who are creating success on their terms to provide inspiration and encouragement. Also, there will be mini episodes where I take you behind the scenes, sharing how-tos, my coaching toolkit, chats about mindset, money, building momentum, and all through storytelling. After all, my clients have been known to call me the Queen of Analogies. So, thank you in advance for spending some time with me. Feel free to subscribe to be notified of the next episodes and follow across social media at Nikki Raby. You can catch up on previous episodes via my website, nikkiraby.com, and also pick and mix, if you like, from my freebie shop. Right, let's crack on and start today's episode. Hello, it's Nikki. I've got a very honest money chat for you today, and it will hopefully give you some food for thought about where you go next with your pricing and your investments and how you operate in this money conversation. When I was making the transition, and I always feel like I've been making a bloody transition, but I guess there's two parts to this. So in 2011, when I started my coaching qualification and I started working on that, I was building my coaching with like zero budget, basically. So anything I earned, I'd be trying to buy a logo or invest in a course. And I was very much like, I was investing a lot because I realized that I didn't have the answers, and I knew that in order to grow, I needed to stop buying wines on a Saturday night, and I had to be careful about what I was sort of future-proofing, basically. And then in 2014, when I made the shift into just doing my own thing, so just essentially hustling, hate that word, but you know what I mean, just being in control of my own diary, so not saying to anybody, look, I'll give you 3 days a week or anything like that, definitely not something on a consistent basis. I then went through a new transition as well of seeing that next phase of business. Likewise, I feel like I've made those transitions when I went from 0 to 1 child, and then when I went to 1 to 2 children. And this next chapter, which I can't tell you about at the moment, I'm not pregnant, but there's big, exciting things happening behind the scenes. And so my capacity for earning and spending is getting bigger and bigger. So I'm earning more, but I'm also spending more. And this has been a really interesting process for me because I've had to do a lot of work around this money mindset. And I know it's one of those phrases that is bandied around, but basically it's all of those conscious or subconscious beliefs that come up and pop up to say hello, and they get in your way, or they stop you, or they make the road a bit more bumpy, essentially. And one of the things that I noticed in my acting career, certainly, was this sense of all hands on deck. It doesn't matter if and I actually said this in a video the other day. I used to say all the time, it doesn't matter if I don't make any money. as long as I'm doing what I love, as long as I'm doing what I love, it doesn't matter if I'm making any money. And guess what happened? Guess what happened, pals? Spoiler alert. I didn't make any money because I was too busy concentrating on all the things that I loved. And yes, of course, that was great because I was fulfilled. But I tell you what, being fulfilled is about not having to make small, tiny decisions about whether you get the bus or not, and instead go, oh, I'll just walk. I'll save myself the £1.50. No, like we want to live in great, abundant, expansive lives. So when I was thinking about this, I was noticing all of those stories, I guess, in my environment about bootstrapping, about working with what you have, that sense of being an entrepreneur for under $100 and starting small and scrimping and saving and stop drinking coffee and get your expenses down. And if you know me, and if you know me well, once I put my mind to something, I have got the dedication and the discipline of I don't know what. And I became so good, and I'm not proud of this because actually it's not healthy, and it wasn't healthy at the time. I became so good at having such tiny expenses and outgoings that I made myself miserable, like to the point where I would be in doubt the whole time, or I'd scrimp and save and I'd go, well, I won't do that. Or I'll just, because basically before I had children, I always did have extra time. So I could get up earlier, I could go to bed later, I could work more weekends. I had no problem doing all of those things because time was a currency I had lots of. I didn't have loads of money. And so if you've got time as your currency, you can spend all of that time doing all those things. And so when I was looking at technology or things that would help, I would be going, well, that one is $1 cheaper per month. So I'm going to go with that one. And I would always make decisions on the money rather than, is it actually doing the thing that I need it to do? Is it going to grow my business? And this has been a really interesting conversation around growing wealth and really stepping in to the business owner that you or I want to be. And one thing that I noticed in that conversation was that I was reading and absorbing so many lessons and hacks and ways to save money and coupons and all sorts of stuff, instead of focusing on the big picture decisions of how do I get better at sales calls? How do I really figure out when people talk about money-making activities? How do I figure out what those are for me and do more of those? Instead of spending half an hour going through an old handbag and saying, I'm sure I had a voucher in here somewhere, a coupon, or going and buying something in a shop far away that would take up half my morning and it would save me £2 because I'd be able to buy it in bulk. And so being really conscious about what I was allowing to take up my energy was game changing in terms of increasing my income. Because what I was doing was I was spending all the time kind of on the small tiny bits instead of actually pulling myself away and going, what's your game plan, Nikki? What are you doing? Who are you helping? Are you attracting the clients that you want to be attracting, or are you faffing about? And the answer often was I was faffing about. Are you doing that? Do you do that? That's what I was doing. So today, your homework, I guess, is to go and download my freebies, my brand new series all about pricing and packaging and really working out, are you pricing what you should be pricing? Is there a better way that you can do this? I bet there is. It doesn't have to be like a complete overhaul, or you don't have to think, oh gosh, I've got to buy a new domain now. And oh no, this is about tweaks. This is about small, tiny tweaks that you can do right now and see a big result. Also, if you are interested in, instead of going, oh, I picked up a bit of this and somebody told me and an old coach said I should do X, Y, and Z and do 3 and 6 sessions or whatever it was that you are doing in your business that you're like, it just doesn't feel good though, or I don't really sell that thing, so I don't really know why I'm doing it, come on over and purchase my online course all about packaging and pricing. It will really help you to develop a robust, interesting, motivating pricing menu that's your client is going to absolutely love. And this is going to be really key, especially if you want to increase your sales this year and next year as well. Because if you're not feeling it, nobody else is going to be feeling it. Absolutely, that is for sure. So I would love you to go and do that. You can also book in a one-on-one session if you want to add that on, but it's a great time in this golden quarter or as we go into next year to really look at how you're selling, how you're pricing, how you're packaging, and make sure that you are doing it in the best possible way for you. As always, thanks so much for listening. I really appreciate your company. I'm sending so much love. Please rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next episode. Lots of love.